We're on. Well, ladies, thank you and welcome to another self love conversation. We have a familiar face here that we know of, Miss Jess Kanotz, and she is back to talk to us about how you guys who are busy moms who are out there doing all this stuff. I mean, you're picking up the kids, you're moving around, you're cooking dinner, you're helping with homework, you're doing all this stuff. How do you actually take care of your mental health while you doing all of these things? And she is on tonight to let you know exactly how to do that. I don't have any kids. I am not a mom. So you will hear from a mother of how you balance it all. So Jess, thank you so much for coming back. And
Yes, of course.
yeah,
Thanks for
thank
having
you
me
for helping
back.
us out. Yeah, thank you for helping us out. Because I tell the ladies all the time, I'm not a mom, so the stuff that I do and everything of how I push myself when I know that I need to, sit down and take care of myself, I could imagine what it's like when you have kids, especially small children. How old are your kids?
I just have the one, but she's just turned 5.
5 years
So
old.
pretty
So
young.
what how do you balance it? Like what do you do? How do you make it work?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things, and a lot of it I learned these mental health kind of like little tips, things that I do, is because I was forced to, because as you know, I have bipolar 1.
Mm-hmm.
That means I have no choice but to make my mental health a priority for myself, for my family. So the number one thing I do is I get enough sleep. And
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people out there who are not getting enough sleep. They don't make it a priority for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't get enough sleep, I cannot get through my day, and I cannot just be happy and be myself and be there for my daughter in the way I should. So that's the number one thing for me. I know most people aren't like me, but I need 8.5 to 9 hours of sleep a night. That's really important. So everyone, you have to figure out how much you need. Probably less than that, but that's the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm. And what I also wanted to talk about is especially new moms, right? When you're a new mother and you have a child, or let's say you have twins or everything, you going from one life and one way of living to now caring 24/7 for this little beautiful human being, right? So I read this thing recently from this guy. He said the only people on earth who really need someone and can't live without someone is kids and babies, right?
Right.
So when you make that transition and you a new mother, how did you manage where you didn't get stressed out. I know you have a husband, so that probably okay.
No, it helps. Of course, it helps.
the
Um,
the face said
I
it
mean,
all.
when it was really hard. It was a huge adjustment for me, for my husband too. And I know not everyone, can afford to do this, but my psychiatrist just told me straight out, you cannot be getting up in the night. You have to get a night nanny. So
Mm,
we saved our money throughout the pregnancy, and that's what we did until she was sleeping through the night, which I can't remember how long it took at this point. It took a little while. So we would have a night nanny 5 days a week during the week. And then on the weekends, my husband would get up in the night. So I never got up in the night,
mhm.
um, only because I didn't really have a choice. I had to get that sleep. I could not afford to go into mania or depression while
Right,
having a newborn. I just
right,
couldn't do it.
right. And for the women who really don't know or haven't been diagnosed with a mental illness, they're up. They're doing it. And there's a lot of single mothers who have to do it, who can't afford a night nanny. what would you say to them to kind of help them navigate and get in touch with their feelings? Because again, like we talked about last time when you were on here, most of us just don't know what's really going on with us. We rationalize a lot, right? We'll say, oh, it's because I just had the baby. Oh, it might be postpartum. Oh, it's because, yeah, I'm missing my old life. Oh, it's because of whatever, right? So we haven't been diagnosed. We don't know. We got this new baby. We're a new mom. We're here. We're trying to figure it out. We can't go to sleep, and we're single. That's reality, right?
Oh
How do
yeah.
we stay in touch with our feelings while we're that busy so that we don't have like these episodes? Can you give us, a little bit of insight or some advice?
I would say, I mean, I was never in that position, but if you don't have a partner to rely on to help you and to allow you to get some sleep and to, do all those things, you have to find someone you can rely on.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a family member, if it's a close friend, you can't be afraid to ask
For
for
help.
help
That's
because
right.
if you don't ask for it, you're probably not going to get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if you were in a situation where you were diagnosed and you're trying to keep it all together, that's important too, because that's what you're saying. Like, you know, I have to be able to protect me so I can protect you guys, so I could protect my baby and I can protect my husband. How difficult was that for you?
It was, I mean, it sounds like I had it easy because, oh, I had a night nanny and
Mm-hmm.
but no, it was extremely difficult. Um, I was lucky, I had maternity leave. I had 4 months of maternity leave because I was in DC at the time. And that's just what they give. But being home like that day in, day out, I mean, I love my daughter. I'm in love with my daughter, but it was really grueling in a way I didn't understand until I was in it.
Mm.
Um, it was extremely difficult, but I got through it without any kind of like breakdown, any mental health problem. Um, I didn't have postpartum depression. I mean, a lot of that, I was just lucky and
Right.
my health, went that way. But I also took really good care of myself. I had to. So
Yeah.
I ate really healthy even after she was born. I exercised when she would sleep. I just made sure that I was the best I could be for her.
And you know what? I strongly believe, and we're gonna get into, I want to talk about, some of the ways to make the mental health priority, right? That you have for us. But I think that is the way to do it. You're putting yourself first so that you could be the best for you and your family, right? You are making sure that you're taking care of you so that you are able to be there for your daughter. And however that may look, because society tells you one thing, you knew how much of a priority it was. And that's the amazing thing about that, because you knew what could happen, but you took the leadership and the lead to know, you know what? In order for me to be your mom, I got to be able to take care of me, you know?
Right. And it was also instilled in me by my psychiatrist, these things I had to do. I was
uh,
reminded all the time. And I think I know, a new mom especially is so busy, but I think that's why therapy is so important. Um, Whether it's like individual therapy, if you feel you need it on your own, if you need it with your partner, um, I don't, the stigma about therapy, I think should be completely gone. I think pretty much everyone in the world now needs therapy,
exactly.
based on COVID or just just for anything.
Mm.
Um, we need to we need to make that a priority too.
So how do we make it a priority? If you're a busy mom out there and you're trying to make your mental health a priority, what things can you say to this mom?
Well, if you want to do therapy, I mean, nowadays there are so many options that there didn't used to be. You can do telehealth, you can pick up your phone, and there's different apps that you can try. I've actually never tried one of them, but I've heard good things about them. Or, if you already know of a therapist, a lot of them will do like FaceTime or Zoom visits. Like my psychiatrist is still in Washington, D.C., and I'm in Pittsburgh, and we do FaceTime on our
Mm-hmm.
iPhones. I mean, it's really the easiest thing. Um, and I'm not saying, oh, you have to do this once a week. Like,
Right.
you need to do what is right for you. Like I only see my psychiatrist usually once a month, and
Mm-hmm.
that's good.
Mm-hmm.
But when I had my daughter, I saw her more often.
Correct. Because you was a new mom, so that works. And so what are some of the other ways, what are some of the other tips, how do we keep our mental health before us while you know while you're a mom, like, because I don't know, so I'm gonna give you the floor.
Well, I think the biggest thing we talked about a little bit already is like really relying on your partner. And if you don't have a partner, like we said, a family member, a friend, but your partner, you need to be able to say to this person, you need to be able to say to them, if you need a day away, like a mental health day, you just need a day
Mm,
off. You need to be able to say to them, I need this, and they should be able to get that from you. um Maybe it isn't something as big as that. Maybe you want to divide up household chores differently. I
mhm.
hate going to the grocery store, for instance. Like it's really hard on me to go.
Right.
And Brian doesn't mind it so much, so now he does that all the time, and it's wonderful, and it has made a big change in my life. I mean, I don't have to do that ever again. It's great. So I think that's, the biggest thing,
Hmm.
um, for people who, are going through being a mother without having a partner there. I mean, I really feel for you, and I feel like you do have to rely on someone. If it's a friend, if it's a family member, pick the person who you know, will be there.
Usually what happens is, mom steps in, right? Mom always steps in, and because mom knows, okay, my child just had a baby, she really doesn't know what it means to be a mother, so usually they come and stay, right, and they stay for a while to kind of show you what it means to be a mom, and I've seen this plenty of times. And the biggest thing that you learn in that is that, like you said, that is the time where you are supposed to get rest, but that is also the time where you get to watch how you do stuff, right? How you get to interact with your child. How do you keep yourself in a positive state while you're learning to, be this mother, right? And how you're learning to manage it all, because that's for a small baby. How about moms who got 3 or 4 kids? You're working full time, you got the dad working full time, you guys got to help the kids with the homework, do all this stuff, and you're moving all around, right? That gets draining.
Yeah, that would
you
I
know
always say to my mom, because my mom, I was the third, for her. I'm like, why did you have 3 kids? Like, what?
Why?
And she's like, you wouldn't be here if we didn't
That's
have. I was
right.
like, I don't care. Like, that's crazy.
But it happens, but that shows
Yeah.
the resilience of women, right? And it shows just how much we put ourselves out there, but knowing that our mental health is also important, and taking breaks and getting sleep is also important, because when we don't do that, we run out of gas. And I like what you said. I had to take that, and part of it was for your mental illness, but at the same time, that's what's required. I strongly believe that getting the sleep, getting the opportunity to connect with yourself, because that's how you could be the best version for your children, right? I had a lady tell me, she said, you know what I used to do, my kids, I trained my kids. When I used to come home, they knew not to bother me. They would say, hi, mom, everything. I would go in my room. I would take my clothes off. I would take a bath. I would get myself together. And then I will come out and I had myself together. I will hug and kiss on my kids and I was ready for them. And I would say, how was your day? What can I help you with? Because I took care of me. And a lot of people in the beginning thought that was something that was selfish, but think about it. If you're coming in drained from work and then you're saying, oh, did you do your homework? Did you clean this? Did you do this? Did you do that? You already had a crazy day, right?
Hmm.
You already busy. So having that downtime and taking that time and taking care of your mental health is important, you know? So we already know how to find you, but just remind us, please.
No, I mean, I totally agree. I think that's great what that woman was doing, and
Yeah.
you got to train them. I mean, you have to do it. Um, so another thing that I really make sure I do every week, I limit the number of activities that are happening that
Mm,
week. It doesn't
that's
matter if
good.
it's a personal thing or if it's like a family activity or if it's for my daughter.
Yeah.
I look at the week, ahead of time, and if I see too much, I either cancel, and it's okay to cancel.
Yep.
And everyone who's like a parent understands when you cancel, it's not a big deal.
Mm,
Or I move things to like a quieter week because I'm not going to overload myself or my family, and then we'll just all suffer
correct.
because of it.
Correct. And that's what I was talking to with the last interview. How do you shut it down? How do you know when to shut it down? How do you know when it's enough? Because sometimes we feel like we got to keep going and going and being busy and busy. So we busy being busy, being busy, being busy, right?
Yeah.
And you're never in tune with nothing. And then you get the mommy guilt, right? Am I being here for my kid? Am I really doing what I'm supposed to do? Where really you're not shutting down, you're not canceling things. So do you feel bad when you have to cancel things, or did you already work through that? So no
No,
Chuck
I
E.
don't feel
Cheese.
bad.
Okay. So if you had Chuck E. Cheese planned the whole time and then you can't go,
Well,
you're
I
okay.
prioritize like if we had something like that that we had, really wanted to do, that's not something I would cancel.
Mm-hmm.
Like if someone, but then if a friend asked me for like the next day to go get drinks, I'd be like,
Okay.
I could do it next week
That's right.
or
That's right.
whatever.
That's right. That makes sense. That really does. And so it's like another thing that I would say, that that I that I witness is that a lot of busy moms. I don't know how you guys, you know, get through this, but when it when it do come to sleep, you said you had to get your sleep, but how can how can she de-stress? Because I hear a lot of mothers that saying, I can't sleep at night. I'm having problems sleeping because I'm worried about the bills and I'm worried about, the husband. I'm worried about what's going on. So the de-stressing part, even though you are doing it all, you're going to lay down and you still can't rest.
No, it's hard. It can be hard. I went through a period like just a couple months ago where I had insomnia for a month, like a solid month, and
Right.
it was terrifying, and I thought I was going to go, be manic the whole time, and I never did, but um I think, people have to figure out what is allowing them to de-stress.
Right.
Like for me, it's definitely like getting exercise. I have to do that. It's also like even though I'm cutting down on activities, I'm still making time for the people who are who really like love me and get me. Like the people who when I talk to them, it builds me up and
You're
it's never
choosing the people,
upsetting.
you're choosing the people that you should be around, which is important.
Right, exactly. So I make time for those people. I make a point to call those people on the phone or get together. And these are the people who are always going to like tell me how wonderful I am. They're
Right.
always going to make me laugh. Like it's never going to be like any criticism. It's just going to be love. And those people, I swear it's like getting free therapy. I
Yeah,
mean, so for me, those people are crucial, and you have to pinpoint who those people are for you. But yeah, I think it's really important. And that to me is de-stressing.
exactly. Jess, I want to thank you for coming back. I'm coming to Pittsburgh. Are you coming so I can see you, this wonderful hair in person?
When are you coming?
I am coming the 26th. Well, that Friday through Sunday, we're having our event up
I would
there.
love to come. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you gotta it's gonna be, well, it is posted. I think they posted it on social media or whatever. But yeah, I we're coming up there. We're gonna do some really, really good work. So, but let us know how to follow you again. Let us know how to connect
Yes.
with you again.
So what am I on? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube because my blogs are all on YouTube. They're all under Our Bipolar.
Hmm. And you know what? I actually was looking at your Instagram when you told your story some time back. And I was just saying to myself, I'm like, this is the start of a new beginning because you were so transparent, you were so open. And, that's where the real healing work happens. And I just know for sure you touch so many people because when I listened to it, it was coming straight from the heart. Where I listened to the whole, I think it was like 15 minutes. I
It is
listened to the
long, yeah.
whole thing. Oh, it wasn't long to me because it
Oh,
kept me
good.
in tune, and you get a lot of insight as to what stress does, how you try to mitigate that, and how do you deal with your feelings. That's why I always ask the question when people don't know how they feel and things happen, how do you look for those signs? And I love what you said in there. You was like, I knew something was coming on because I just didn't feel right, but I didn't know. And then I found out, right?
Yeah.
And that was a really, really big thing for me. So kudos to you for doing the work. Thank you for continuously putting yourself out there because a lot of people are afraid to. But the more you tell your story, the more other people get comfortable. And that's the work that we do, right? We try to teach people how to love themselves unapologetically, authentically, and we don't give up what other people think.
That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
That's the
You
truth.
know what I'm saying? We living
Yeah.
for us, right?
Right.
So thank you so much for being here, and I'll definitely see you in September.
All
Okay.
right. I can't wait.
See you soon.
Thanks.
Bye.